Keyshawn Davis is sending a loud message to the boxing world after his explosive second-round knockout of Gustavo Lemos. Is ready for Gervonta Tank Davis and won't take no for an answer. Keyshawn didn't just win, he dominated, dropping Lemos multiple times and forcing an early stoppage, a performance he believes makes him impossible for Tank to ignore. Now, with fans buzzing about the possibility of these two meeting in the ring, Keyshawn is pushing for his shot, confident he can bring the fight to one of boxing's most dangerous punchers. Could we be on the verge of seeing two of the lightweight division's biggest talents collide? Keyshawn's win over Lemos is sparking huge anticipation, with fans now calling for a showdown against Gervonta Tank Davis. Keyshawn sees this victory as his ticket to facing the champion, especially since he believes he's proven his power and skill on a big stage. He's publicly challenging Tank, saying the WBA champ has no choice but to meet him in the ring, and he's got fans rallying behind the matchup. With both fighters known for intense styles and strong personalities, a clash between Keyshawn and Tank would be electrifying and could redefine the lightweight division. Keyshawn Davis is feeling confident after his impressive second-round knockout over Gustavo Lemos on Friday night in Norfolk, Virginia. This victory, broadcast by Top Rank on ESPN+, has led Keyshawn to believe that WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Tank Davis now has no choice but to fight him. Keyshawn, who isn't typically recognized for knockout power, landed a precise right counter-punch in the second round that sent Lemos crashing down. Lemos, who looked off balance and vulnerable, was dropped twice more before the referee, Raul Caiz Jr., stopped the fight. Keyshawn's punches weren't extremely powerful, but Lemos was unable to recover fully from that initial knockdown. This win places Keyshawn, currently ranked 3 by the WBC and WBO, as the mandatory challenger for WBO champion Denis Berinchik, and a match against him is likely Keyshawn's next major challenge. Despite Keyshawn's win, securing a fight with Tank Davis is far from certain. Tank typically doesn't respond well to challengers calling him out, especially from fighters without a massive fan base or celebrity appeal. The only fighter who successfully got Tank's attention with a public call-out was Ryan Garcia, who had a massive following and a Hollywood-level appeal that made the fight highly marketable. Keyshawn, however, has mostly a regional following, and while his recent performances have been impressive, he doesn't yet have the star power that Tank generally looks for in opponents. Even though Keyshawn feels confident that the fans want to see him take on Tank after his win against Lemos, it may take more than that to attract Tank's interest. Keyshawn himself admitted he didn't expect to stop Lemos so early and initially thought it would be a hard-fought match. However, once he saw Lemos struggling after the first knockdown, he knew he had the opportunity to finish strong, which he did by closing the show in the second round. Still, Keyshawn's efforts to get Tank's attention may end up as just another example of how Tank responds or doesn't respond to call-outs from contenders. Many fighters have attempted the same tactic, but without the large following or widespread appeal, it's tough to get Tank interested. Keyshawn's knockout over Lemos was well-timed, and he's hopeful it will boost his reputation and make him a more appealing contender. The performance demonstrated Keyshawn's skill and readiness to take on bigger fights, but Tank's team tends to be selective about opponents, especially when the challenger lacks star power. Nevertheless, Keyshawn's confidence in his abilities remains high, and he's committed to making Tank recognize his potential. As Keyshawn continues to climb the ranks, he's determined to show the boxing world, and Tank Davis, that he's a serious contender. His win over Lemos, though not against a high-profile opponent, was enough to turn heads and prove he's progressing in the lightweight division. Keyshawn believes that as he continues to deliver strong performances, he will eventually make Tank take notice. For now, he's focused on making the most of every opportunity, solidifying his place as a top contender, and growing his fan base in hopes of eventually landing that dream match with Tank Davis. Whether or not Tank responds, Keyshawn is committed to pushing forward and making his mark in the division. Keyshawn's ambition and confidence are clearly driving him forward as he eyes bigger opportunities in the lightweight division. The knockout win over Lemos, though unexpected, adds to his growing resume and shows he's a fighter to be taken seriously. With this victory, he has now positioned himself as a mandatory challenger for Denis Berinchik's WBO title, which is likely his next big test. However, Keyshawn's real goal seems to be a showdown with Gervonta Davis, a fight he believes will prove his worth on the world stage. His recent performance may help him get closer, but it's uncertain whether Tank's team will be interested in a matchup, especially given Tank's preference for highly marketable fights. Keyshawn has expressed that the fans want to see him face off against Tank, but building that kind of demand usually requires more than just skill in the ring. Fighters who get major opportunities often have a combination of talent, fan support, and marketability, which Keyshawn is still working on developing. Tank's high-profile fight with Ryan Garcia was made possible in part because of Garcia's massive social media following and mainstream appeal. Keyshawn doesn't yet have that level of reach, but he believes his performances and confidence can bridge the gap. Whether this approach will work with Tank's team is uncertain, but Keyshawn seems ready to take on all comers in his journey to the top. The lightweight division is stacked with talented fighters, and as Keyshawn gains momentum, he knows he'll have to keep proving himself against tougher opponents. His calculated choice of Lemos as an opponent, someone who lacked a defensive strategy and left himself open, showed a strategic side to Keyshawn's approach. While Lemos was a good stepping stone, more challenging fights lie ahead. Keyshawn's challenge to Tank is bold, but he may need to continue refining his skills, building his profile, and taking on increasingly difficult opponents to truly capture Tank's attention. As Keyshawn looks to the future, he remains focused on his ultimate goal of facing Tank. He sees himself as a rising star who is only a few significant wins away from earning a shot against the division's elite. The WBO title shot against Berinchik could serve as an important next step, allowing Keyshawn to claim a major belt and add to his credibility. If he can secure that win, it may increase his leverage in negotiations and help him make a case for a fight with Tank. For now, Keyshawn is determined to push forward, grow his following, and prove himself against top competition, fully committed to turning his vision into reality. In conclusion, Keyshawn Davis's latest performance has undoubtedly turned some heads and brought him closer to the spotlight he's been chasing in the lightweight division. By securing a quick knockout victory over Gustavo Lemos, Keyshawn made a powerful statement about his skills, strategy, and readiness to face the best in the division, including Gervonta Davis. Although the path to a fight with Tank isn't straightforward, especially given the promotional barriers and Tank's high standards for opponents, Keyshawn's ambition remains unshaken. He's eager to show the world he belongs among the elite and believes that fans are now backing his call out of Tank, even though it may take more than one knockout for the hype to fully catch on. Keyshawn's next step toward the WBO title against Denys Berinchik could add another significant accomplishment to his record and further build his reputation. But ultimately, Keyshawn will need to continue sharpening his skills and growing his profile to get the attention he seeks. Whether or not a clash with Tank materializes soon, Keyshawn is determined to make an impact, and with each win, is edging closer to becoming a star who could truly challenge the division's top fighters.